Hi, oh, the cups are so cute, aren't they? Greetings, Storm Creation. This is Aurora Rothschild, Rock Fellow Bills and Sussex. I'm Mother of New Creation. Don't we all love the cups? They're so cute. They're just, in the end, a mirror, and then they take deeds, because I've now studied the structure of society, and it's all a bunch of, Masonic people that went ahead and went for fight or flight, originally with the spider in the cave. Then they run and they notice that a cave is not enough. They have to fortify the walls, yada, yada, yada. And then they went about to construct, families and dwellings and da da da. And then the role of the cops in that is, if a family has a problem and, they have say they've done too much drugs carrying one of their children, the child is a fucking fucktard, retard, and he has a mental problem, they'll just try to kind of like keep him going, bribing the cops, like telling them please pay ta 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 and whatnot. And then if one of their family members is a cop and they need to say take something from someone else, they'll use the cop to make a fake report. Like, they're users. It's the same as the gospel. The gospel, they're all pieces of shit. There's none of them who is like anything close to holy. They're all evil, like starting from Judas, one of the besties of fucking abs. Look what he did. So, long story short, I have come to learn now that absolutely today, Tatiana Ayaquinta called their boyfriend, whom he married. They married each other in Sarasota under my first wedding license. So I went to Sarasota, Florida's town hall, and I requested a marriage certificate from the town hall. We were supposed to consume it within 3 days, but they start to fuck around the property, these people, and I didn't know that I was getting affected at that level in time. So I emailed Nick Sr. and Fadi Khoury, and I told them that, I never went to New York because I was supposed to leave, Beirut, go like briefly to Florida, then go to New York, then go to California. And so I just texted them like, I'm still in Florida and I met a movie producer and yada yada, and and I knew that there was something shady to it. Of course, I'm not an idiot. You think I didn't know that I was a fucking total bomb, like the hottest chick in creation. You think I don't know that I can marry anyone I want, and why would I marry an old motherfucker who can fucking barely even get it up? I mean, think about it. So, why did I run it through like Fadi and like Nick? Is because I was, I wanted to turn the tables back on it, of course. Like, nobody makes me take a plane and then like starts to jiggle me like that, drives 11 hours the other way to Tampa, then I faint and I got my period, then 15 days later again, then I don't get my period anymore. So I started to, get concerned. Like, what is that thing? How am I going to protect myself? I thought, well, I ran away from those. Now I'm going to have to find a way to run away from that. Boo! I put them against each other. I emailed those motherfuckers about that motherfucker, and bam, it started. So, because there's no love. Like, that's absolute bullshit. Why did I tell him absolutely at the town hall? Because he already had screwed me over for the first fucking license. So then I got the next license. I said absolutely. Then it started to play the game of replace. So every time, like David would tell me, oh, let's go to the cottage, dearest. I'm like, oh, let's go to the cottage. We'd go to the cottage. Who's there? Safa Pafo and Toto. Kristina Poshkina. They're fucking behind the wall. Am I gonna see it or not? So what would fucking David do at that level? They used to like, okay, order me, say, like vodka. I'm drinking vodka, and then we'd like eat like, say, half a burger or like half something. Then we'd have to like walk out to smoke cigarettes. Like, he would just like light a cigarette and he would smoke. But he would do that to assist their game. So to assist, say, Kristina Pushkina sucking off our Shuffle, since Kristina has a dick, Shuffle's supposed to be a woman. So every time our Toto needs to suck the dick of our Shuffle, David would take me out, to like smoke a cigarette, because Toto is like downing a dick. So this in itself is a wrong basis for a marriage. That is not a marriage. It ain't. That is abuse. So I started to take action in Sarasota. I started to call every fucking shelter, every women's center. I had plans to run away because I came to conquer. I didn't come for love, or I thought it would be possible because I felt a direct link to, the persona, to David when he called, to how he spoke to me, to what he was saying, to the concept of that. But then once it was body to body, it was like, pooh. And then I felt like, I was selling myself out. But what could I have done? Within my community, there would have been no other possible solution, because they was all, around my topic also. Like every time I do a ballet recital, they're going to have to steal my tutu. Every time, because Mohammed Nasrallah was after me. He, like after the ballet recital, say like all the ballerinas were having a party, and we all collecting our tutus. Mine is missing. Why? Because I didn't fuck Shafo, who fucked Mohammed. Mohammed stole my tutu as if he did my dance. Like, that is not constitutional. But now, the United States itself became anti-constitutional. So now they served 3 trespasses in order for them to give me the chance to come here and see what I'm about to do. Like, am I going to wait till 11 till Rav comes home to suck his dick? Maybe he will transform to someone else. Am I going to go around the community, try to fuck a Mexican, so maybe he transforms to someone else? I'm not going to do any of that. I am above Tatiana Poshkina. I don't give a fuck that fucking Nicholas Canelli sold me off to Michael Iaquinta. I removed my goddamn signature. So I now tell you, Beaufort County, that back in the day, you came to my tent several times and you left a fucking note on my tent door. Now that you all came to my tent personally, between Robert Shapiro, Klaus, and a 4th guy, you came talk to me in person. You know it is my tent and that I ain't Toto the Russian. So, for any cop like Aaron, Safo, and Sefer today to have done that shit means that they are not part of my chosen cop crew. Period. So now, separating the wheat from the chaff within the cops. And to those that chose the non, you can all forget about your actions and repatriate yourself and go talk to Catherine, Megan, and Amy Thompson. Because I, the real Aurora, now, in terms of constitutionalism and in terms of patriotism, I stand tall and proud in the fact that I do not have ID, since I have researched enough to comprehend that anybody who does is definitely anti-federal, anti-confederate, anti-constitutional, and anti-Bill of Rights and everything that I stand for. Per that, I will keep doing my journey and my work in peace, and nobody's gonna bother me. Now I have keys here. I choose not to sleep here because I am not safe around the spider work. And if I wanted to, I could bring my little indoor tent and set it up here and stay in a tent here. But why would I want to do that? I don't want to be around human bodies when I rest. I get annoyed enough. That's why I scream at bloody murder every time I wake up and Aaron comes to get sucked off around my property and whatever else he does. That's why I'm so angry on TikTok. Because it angers my etheric bodies when I try to rest, far from that to heal and to do what I couldn't do in Russia, in the United States of America, which is supposed to be the most advanced country. But since, I'm not going to let that get in my way, so I'm going to keep strong. And I'm glad that I have spies like Sonal and some people from YouTube are like, oh my gosh, we're your fans. And then they start to give me innuendos because they all have sight, so they all knew while I was in Harris Theater what was going on in my tent. I don't have sight. I have read on text, and then I get like information later, or because in Harris Theater, I wasn't tuned into that frequency. So now that I've been here, this being that actually that David, he probably made the report with Chris to serve me while I was in the House of Forsyth. So they decide to get me out of there to try to get me to suck his dick on the road somewhere, to send a cop and arrest me if he doesn't transform to William. That was their plan. But I don't suck dick on the road. I mean, I'm not going to do that, It's not going to happen. So if he recalls those days as like the glorious days, I was on a research guided project by my UFO because I received a cryptic message from Shasta by Amy Thompson, who now has my Aurora ID, Aurora El Khoury, and Mohammed has Aurora Rothschild Rockefeller, was in Sussex maybe. And then you have Charlie with Aurora Diamond Rainbow, you have Hordoba with Aurora Rainbow Morning Star, you have Mayo with Aurora Diamond Morning Star. You know, each one of them, like every time I would just like do, you have Aurora Lilith Morning Star for I don't know who, probably that's Amber, and then they're gonna pretend that he got robbed and that was me. They was gonna pretend that I had an ID, but I never ever in my life received anything official that said I am holding an Aurora ID post my Aurora El Khoury murder. Then I was Melania Tabrawi, then I was Dima Tabrawi, but I had to bring that back to my own senses with my own arduous work that I gracefully thank the United States for, because had it not been for the frequency of freedom, I would have never been able to heal. So now for the cause of the United States to pretend that they are against their own constitution, I'm not going to buy it. That's simple, period, the end.